Assalamu alaikum, peace and blessings. You're tuned in to the Sajdah Saturday Morning Coffee Talks, where we talk about life, love, and business.
O Allah, guide me among those whom Thou hast guided aright, and preserve me among those whom Thou hast preserved, and befriend me among those whom Thou hast befriended. Bless me in whatsoever Thou dost grant me, and deliver me from the evil of what Thou hast judged. Surely Thou judges, and none can judge against Thee, and he whom Thou befriendest is not disgraced. Blessed art Thou, O Lord, and exalted be Thee above what they set up besides Thee. I bear witness, nothing deserves to be served besides Thee, and I bear witness that Muhammad is Thy servant and apostle. Amen.
Assalamu alaikum, family. Peace and blessings. Happy Saturday. It's almost Ramadan. I don't know how y'all feel about that, but I had to get myself ready spiritually, but I'm ready and excited now. And we did our launch on Thursday. We making history, y'all. I don't know if y'all knew, but go back to the Thursday show where we launched our digital asset. For those of us that have these commemorative Elijah coins with the digital membership number on the back, if you click the link in the bio, you can fill out the form to redeem your your digital asset. On Tuesday, we're going to airdrop the first set. We're going to do that every Tuesday until March 30th, and then the offer's over, y'all. So we can't stretch this out. We're building value here, so it's important that you all go out here and that you all go out here and make sure that you claim your digital asset. Okay. I see some comments. I'll jump over to those. So make sure you like and subscribe to the page. Hit the super chat button right there. I think it's at the bottom right. There's other ways you can support going across the bottom. I saw y'all in here early. I saw you in here early, Mom. Good morning. Welcome, welcome. I saw Brother Lamont. I saw Sister Betty. I saw Regional Sky Girl. She's back with us. She says she's on the road and staying with believers instead of a random hotel. That's nice. That's beautiful. All right. And so she says she's trying to read the closed captions because she don't want to be too noisy up in the house, but the closed captions ain't working. So I don't know. Put your earphones on, sis. That's another way to do it. I've been busy this week doing some historical stuff. Brother Stanley, walaikum salam, good morning. And I spoke, and then I was on a couple panels at an event, and a sister said something to me yesterday that really resonated with me as a former accountant. And she talked about the slaves being an asset on the financial statements of companies during that time. And I don't know why that just struck me for some reason. And I said, I see what has happened now. If we were an asset on their balance sheet, and then they started to depreciate us. If you know anything about accounting, you depreciate an asset. You can take depreciation each year. And then after you've taken all the depreciation, after the useful life of the asset, you write the asset off. Either it's salvage, sometimes you just write it off and throw it away. But what has happened to us as we've been written off the books of these companies that kidnapped and brought us over here, but yet we're still going to them saying, give us some benefits, even though we know that you've written us off. So what that said to me was, and I can't play the videos because YouTube doesn't like it when you share other people's videos, but I want you all to go out here. You know what? I posted them on my Facebook page. So if you go to my Facebook page, excuse me, Sajdah Wendy Muhammad, and I posted a video from Representative Al Green in Texas, where he talked about quantifying the amount of money owed to us. We're not talking about reparations, but because we built these institutions and we sat on their books, excuse me, for so many years as assets. And then there's some other videos I put out there, but I want to read to you an article, and let's just talk about this a little bit. Welcome, Sister Sandra. Welcome, El Loso official channel. Walaikum salam, Brother Carlos from Detroit. All right. Good to see you all here. So when you see me saying, listen, y'all, get these coins, let's add value. You know how many people have walked up to me in DC, or who walk up to me all the time and say, wow, we make coins all the time, but how often do we put a Black man's face on the coin? And how much value do we attach to that Black man that's on the coin? So when you all hear me saying, look, y'all, get this copper, get these coins, get this physical asset, get this digital asset. I know it's hard for a lot of you all to conceptualize. And I'm just saying, roll with me. But I just want to read this because it will help us understand how uh, we have been quantified, and the fact that we in fact were assets. The reason why I say that's important, because I think we hear about being an enslaved person, slavery, or whatever they tell us to use. We hear about those phrases. But I think sometimes so many of us see it as somebody else. That was them old people. That was back in the day. I had a friend who said his 9-year-old son came up to him and said, "Daddy, were you a slave?" Because there's just not a time connection, right? Um, and we don't really understand that this really wasn't that long ago, and that there are a lot of powers that be who, as they're studying their businesses and their companies, they're saying, whoa, what made us world dominant back then? And how do we get back there? And in 90% of the cases, the common denominator that contributed to the world dominance of these super companies were the assets on the books, and those assets, in many cases, was us. So check this out. This was January 20th, 2005. Okay. JP Morgan discloses past links to slavery. I don't know how many of you saw this, but we're going to go through this a little bit. New York, January 20th. JP Morgan Chase and Company filed a disclosure statement Thursday with the city of Chicago, acknowledging that two of its predecessor banks received thousands of slaves as collateral prior to the Civil War. So, stopping right there with that paragraph. You know, when you go and get a car loan, you put up the car as collateral. If you get a home loan, the home is collateral. So that whatever collateral means, whatever collateral you put up, what it means is that if you don't pay, the lender can come and take that asset that you put up as collateral. So in these cases, what JP Morgan Chase is saying, that, let me say it again, they received thousands of slaves as collateral prior to the Civil War. So people went and got loans, plantation owners, sometimes they had plantation loans, and they put their slaves up as collateral. A lot of us don't understand why it's so hard for us to trace back our history. This is one of the reasons why. Because what I don't know if you realize is that obviously when you were kidnapped, you had a name. When you came here on the plantation, they gave you a name, but you took the last name of the person that owned you. So if you were on the Jones plantation, then you are Wendy Jones. Then if Mr. Jones sells you to Mr. Smith, when he sells you to the Smith plantation, you become Wendy Smith. Okay. Let's say he puts you up for collateral and you go to the bank. You lose that last name, Smith, because you're no longer Wendy Smith, because you're no longer owned by the Smith plantation. Now you go to the bank. The bank may have you as, Wendy, slave girl, slave woman, put your age or whatever. And then if they sell you, or when they sell you, because obviously the banks aren't going to just hold on to you, just like when they repossess your car, they sell the car. They put it back out on the market. So when they put you back out on the market, you go to another plantation. And that might be the O'Brien plantation. And now you're Wendy O'Brien. So this is why when we see each other with the last name, we always like, you my cousin, you my cousin. This 9 times out of 10, you may not actually even be related. So, because they weren't looking at us as humans. So now let's go back. Let's keep going. The New York-based bank, the nation's second largest, apologized for contributing to, quote, a brutal and unjust institution, close quote, and said it was setting up a scholarship fund in Louisiana to try to make amends. Okay, JP Morgan, I'm going to need y'all to do more than a scholarship fund. Okay. I'm going to need y'all to quantify which obviously y'all got the notes, quantify what that dollar amount is that you generated, how much revenue was generated as a result of these loans, these plantation loans. And I'm going to need you to run us our check. That's what I think needs to happen. I think all these companies that have benefited, they need to run us our check. They need to give us our money because we built all of this. We built how much was it? How much for the labor? And I'm not talking about reparations. That's something from the government. I'm talking about you as an individual company. We shouldn't be paying no taxes as Black people. There should be tax credits. There should be a whole slew of things. I volunteered to sit on the committee to figure out how to distribute these funds. Okay. I'll volunteer in case y'all can't find nobody. Let me move on. JP Morgan officials said the bank undertook the study after Chicago passed an ordinance in 2003 requiring companies that do business with the city to research their history to determine any links to slavery. Come on, city of Chicago. So does that mean y'all got the data? We can start right in Chicago then. Y'all got the data. Let's put a dollar amount to it and let's start distributing right in the city of Chicago. Let's start there. I'm going to keep going. The historical analysis was conducted for JP Morgan by History Associates, Inc. of Rockville. So History Associates, Inc. may have the data as well, or some of that. All right, let's keep going. JP Morgan's disclosure was outlined in a letter to the bank's employees that was signed by William B. Harrison Jr., the bank's chairman, and chief executive, and James Dimon, the president and chief operating officer. The letter was made available to reporters. The bank said researchers found that two now defunct predecessor banks, Citizens Bank and Canal Bank, both based in Louisiana, served plantations from the 1830s until the Civil War. I was just looking at a show the other day where the United States owed all of this money at one point to Britain for sugar and tobacco that I guess they had taken loans against the plantations. And they just said, you know what, we're not paying. What y'all gonna do about it? Run us our money, please. The data now we live in an information-based society. Y'all could pay us. Okay. Collateral for mortgages and other loans included land, equipment, and or enslaved individuals, the statement said. JP Morgan estimated that the two banks accepted approximately 13,000 enslaved individuals as collateral, and that the banks came to own approximately 1,250 enslaved individuals as a result of defaults. The disclosure did not make clear what happened to those individuals. Well, we can probably surmise what happened to those individuals because if you default on a car loan, they come get your car and they resell it. If you default on your mortgage, they take your house and they resell it. So what would they do with these enslaved people? They're assets. They're on the books of these companies as assets. Otherwise, you would never have taken them as collateral. And so you resold them. So I'm with you, Regional Sky Girl. Add it up. Let's put the numbers together. I'm not talking about reparations. That's separate. That's separate from the U.S. government and what they need to give us. But these major corporations, We've talked about JP Morgan on here. We've talked about JP Morgan and his role in the railroad. We've talked about JP Morgan and his role in the Titanic, his role in the banking industry. We've talked about that. And it's probably deeper than 13,000. See, I see JP Morgan Chase talking about these other banks, Citizens Bank and Canal Bank. But what about JP Morgan himself? Let's do the research. Put the numbers together. Here goes some more information. I want us to just see that our value is beyond this and then some, so that we stop. No, this is what I also want us to see. So that we stop begging these people for stuff that we can do for ourselves. All right, let me keep reading because I don't want to get on my soapbox. Okay. The two Louisiana banks merged in 1924, but failed in March 1933 amid the Depression. A federally chartered bank in May 1933 assumed some of the bank's assets, and that institution, the National Bank of Commerce in New Orleans, was a precursor of Bank One Corp. Bank One was purchased last year by JP Morgan. Now, this was published in the Washington Post, so I ain't making this up. Here's the quote from Jamie Dimon. He said, "We apologize to the African American community, particularly those who are descendants of slaves, and to the rest of the American public for the role that Citizens Bank and Canal Bank played," end quote. Harrison and Dimon said in their statement, quote, "The slavery era was a tragic time in U.S. history and in our company's history." You can't apologize this away and make it go away. There's atonement and there's compensation. You owe us. You owe us some money. Run us the checks. You got these companies. You already quantified the dollars. So let's figure it out. How you gonna atone? Because I don't believe these companies should be allowed to just continue to do business as usual. And while this is, I guess, courageous that they apologized and admitted it, thank you. But now what? So I'm with Democratic Senator Al Green from Texas. I think he's either a senator or a representative, who is like, look, let's quantify this. Let's figure this out. Let's figure out how much they owe. And I volunteered to sit on the committee. JP Morgan said it was setting up a program called Smart Start Louisiana. The bank will provide $5 million over 5 years for full tuition undergraduate scholarships for Black students from Louisiana to attend college in their home state. Let me know if y'all know anybody from Louisiana that got this scholarship. Let's see if we can follow this through to the end. Students will have the opportunity to intern at the firm during the summer and the goal of being hired upon graduation, the statement said. Okay, so I held your ancestors I took them as collateral on a loan. Many of the loans defaulted, especially during the Civil War. We seized you as an asset, more than likely resold you, and we sorry. But what we're going to do now is let you come work here. We're going to give you a scholarship and let you work over here. Something about that circle don't make sense to me. JP Morgan Chase and Company's predecessors counted slaves as collateral. So I posted some stuff on my Facebook. And why is that important? Because I think sometimes we're shocked when we see things like DEI being opposed. I think sometimes we're shocked when you see how the minority business set-asides and things like that are being eliminated. That happened 3 days ago. But those assets, that were on their books have been written off. They're tired of carrying an asset that they don't get free labor from anymore. And so when you write off the asset, it's no longer of use to you. Um, Brother Lamont said, yes, JP Morgan, the Waltmans, Goldman Sachs, call the roll. There's so many companies that, it's really surreal. It probably would scare you if you really understood how much money, because here we go. We always say we built this country. This country was built on the backs of slaves. What does that really, really mean? And if we built a country, can we do it again? Can we do more? Regional Sky Girl said these companies try their hardest not to come up with a realistic dollar value of how much money they made using our labor, and then compound that amount with interest. Add it up. I'm with you. Add it up. Run us our dollars. There's so many companies. We can start with the banks because it appears that maybe they have some quantifiable data. It appears that there are historical companies. There was that institute in Rockville. I don't know if that's Rockville, Maryland or Rockville, Illinois, but they probably have some data. But there are some places that have some data, and we can just go one by one. We should just be getting checks flowing into us. And don't y'all come over here claiming and trying to be black if you ain't been black. We didn't get no money from the Native American settlements. I don't know why people who are black and Indian didn't get no money. They didn't include us on that. Most of us trace our DNA back and we have Native American blood. They didn't give us nothing. I know I'm supposed to be getting an Indian check, but I didn't get one. We're not getting that. Run us our money. And maybe us not getting that means that there's bigger dollars out here awaiting us, because we should be getting money from the corporations and from the government. And and then, it's so interesting how they deal with this whole Native American thing and not acknowledge that what America calls Native Americans were what we now call African people or Black people who migrated from the cradle of civilization and inhabited the entire earth, built pyramids along ley lines so that they could communicate with the universe and with each other. You got people like Abu Bakr, who was traveling to the Americas. That's where Christopher Columbus and Spain got it from. Traveling to the Americas to do trade with the Black indigenous people that were already here. These are highly civilized people. I always ask the question, how did they know? How he know they was already here? Were they communicating? Were they sending signals to one another? How did he know? How did he know to give up his position in society to say, I'm going over here back and forth to do trade with my people that are over here in what became the Americas? How did he know? Were they tuning in to each other? Did he get a download at night? Y'all hear me always saying, I get a download. I get a download from the universe. I get something from God. Is that what it is? How did he know? And how did he know to speak to Spain so that Spain said, well, we want to go over there too? Well, they thought they was going to India and they ended up over here and start calling the people they saw Indians. And then you come over here, you take the land, you come over into all these prairie lands and you take the land and cut out your roads and create all this stuff. And then you you scramble the brains of the Black people that are already here. You mix with them. Then they identify as white in some cases, or Native American white. And then you forget about the Black part of them. You forget about the number of Black slaves that sought refuge with Native American tribes. You forget about that even some of the Native American tribes had slaves themselves. So this is a deep history. Why am I talking about this today? I'm talking about it because we have an opportunity right now to rewrite history. So when I'm talking to each and every one of us about preserving our history, making sure that we are supporting preservation efforts, there was something else on the panel that was discussed about why people in hip hop and entertainment don't allocate or don't commonly allocate their revenue towards the ongoing concern or forward momentum of Black people. And I'm not talking about buying turkeys. I'm not even really talking about giving scholarships. I'm talking about helping to support legislation. I'm talking about preserving history. And oftentimes, those people are afraid of the people that work for them or the people that provide their contracts or manage their money saying something to them like, what are you doing? Or why are you giving this money? Or maybe they're just not educated. I talk about urban historic preservation and how during the civil rights movement, who was financing the civil rights movement in a lot of cases? It was the Black entertainers and artists. Harry Belafonte, Aretha Franklin. You all hear Minister Farrakhan talked about, he told a story of how when the mosque number 7 in New York was firebombed, Aretha came, she called, she gave money. And this was happening. These artists, James Brown, they were taking their money and investing in the civil rights movement. And this is just my theory. I think that the people that began to manage their money started to steer them away from that mentality. So today we have some of our artists and entertainers are some of the wealthiest people in the world. They have enough discretionary income to make a difference in a lot of our programs. And I think that they should. And I think that we need to make it a normal thing for people who have funds to do like I did and say, oh, let me buy that house and make a museum and preserve our history. The amount of money that we're looking to raise to complete the museum, most people, some of them people spend that on a chain or a Rolex or a car. So, sometimes you just say, what, let me give up my designer bag fetish. I did it. Let me give that up so that I can invest in businesses, invest in the preservation of our culture. See, if you really want your name to go down in history, I'm talking about like artists that I like somebody like a Chris Brown. You want your name to go down in history, Chris? Give $200,000-$300,000 to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad House. Give $200,000-$300,000, and I'm not even pushing you for millions because that might send off a red flag to the people that's managing your money. But you got discretionary income, and I'm sure it's well off into the 6 figures. Lil Wayne, Rick Ross, Shaquille O'Neal. I'm not talking about giving something small. I'm talking about giving some big dollars. Somewhere where you can see it, where you can come back to a museum and see your name there and say, oh, I contributed to the completion of this house museum. oh, I support this individual entrepreneur and the endeavors that we're doing. We're working on some other big projects. And so that we don't have to go to venture capitalists, and so we don't have to stress and hustle, and we can keep the truth, because so many of us go out and take money from people who want to dictate the story. And a lot of times they don't even have to tell us what not to do and what not to say. We're so trained in many cases that if we go and get some money from, let's say a grant, let's say we get a $250,000, $300,000 grant, we know we better walk that straight and narrow, because we don't want them to say anything to us. And oftentimes, if we decide later on that we want to get froggy and start talking too much, they start going, well, let me see the books. Let me see what you did with the money. Where you get that new car? Where was you at on vacation? Let's do an audit. You know, that kind of stuff. Did you misappropriate the funds? So I'm saying to us that, and these people on the podcast here, you all are conscious. You all support preservation efforts. You support Black businesses. You buy Black and shop Black. But we need our people who are spending big money to do the same thing. If you can go run down to Louis Vuitton and drop 50,000 on a couple of items, maybe that one trip, drop 50,000 with a Black entrepreneur. If you can run down to Rolex and get a Rolex and then go get it custom and bling it out, and it ends up being a $350,000 watch, maybe take that one watch money and help to preserve some history that is going to help your children in the future. This is how we got to think about financing our movement. What's next for us? It's economic development. It's time. We're not on their books anymore. They have written us off, salvaged us. We out of here. Okay? So unless you're going back over there and adding value to them by working there and making them more money than what they're paying you, then you have no value. Government programs are being written out. So it's time for us to get up and do it ourselves. Where's our grocery stores? Where's our grocery stores? We got people growing stuff now, right? Urban gardens, people got gardens, people moving into rural areas, people moving out to the suburbs. So they say, oh, I want a garden. Okay. Well, where are you putting your fruits and vegetables? It's like in Africa, they be hustling to sell those fruits and vegetables by the end of the day because it's going to go bad. Well, let's have a produce market. Instead of these corner stores in all of our neighborhoods, let's start opening up these produce markets or a food market where we can sell items that are healthy to our community. We can do that. You don't need to call the white man to ask him to do that. You can go rent a place. 2 or 3 of us can get together and pool our resources if one person doesn't have the money and go and set up a store. Black people are ready. There's enough conscious Black people. Yeah, some of us going to be ignorant, going to be coming in there trying to steal, act a fool. We know how we'll deal with that. But there's a lot of us that are ready. And those of us that ain't ready, let's start educating people. Let's stop being excessively critical of everything Black. Let's stop. We don't have to be. That's an instruction from the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. He said, stop wanton criticism of everything Black. We talk about on this show all the time that we got to go a little extra mile. So, I mean, you talking about food. I had a concept for a like a restaurant slash store that I came up with where it'd be like a small place, but it'd have like ready-made meals. So you know how sisters sell church dinners, or we got sisters in the mosque that sell dinners. Sometimes the mosque sell dinner afterwards, and it's a ready-made meal. But you can go in the store, you can get chicken, fish, and you go in there. There's these clear containers, and you just buy your meals. And somebody like one of our big artists can underwrite it so that we could sell it for maybe $5. And people in the community where we have food deserts can come and get ready-made meals. We can create a social component with it where it becomes a place to be, a place to hang out. And it's quick. See, part of the problem is we're so addicted to quick stuff. So we're like, look, I ain't got time to be going to the local black restaurant that's going to take an hour to get my food. I got to stand in line. Well, what if you walked up into an establishment and there were these chilled, ready-made meals already there? Your chicken, maybe a protein, a vegetable, and a carb, and a soup, and maybe a dessert. It's already ready. And you got a few choices, and you can walk in and get it within 10 minutes. You could take it with you on the way to work. Some of y'all still eat lunch. You can go have it for lunch. What if we did that in our community and it became, and we underwrite it? We'd have to underwrite it because if you're talking about serving real good, healthy food, it takes money, and it's not cheap to eat healthy. So we're talking eating locally grown food, organic foods, halal foods, things that's healthy for us. We can start working on this diabetes epidemic. We can start working on just us all just walking around being so heavy because we're just we're eating. And we can make it social because food is social. Food has always been considered social. So for years over dinner, we got a whole big thing around the table talks at the Honorable Elijah Muhammad House. So dinner and food was entertaining and educational. We're not trying to take that away. Ain't nobody saying all of a sudden you can't enjoy a good meal with your family and friends, but let's figure out how to do it in a healthier way, and let's make it more accessible to everyday people. Let's put these corner stores out of business that's selling all these chips and unnecessary things to our children. I mean, I spoke at a school, and I never forgot this. It's been about 2-3 years ago, and before I got ready to speak, I had to go to the bathroom. I had been driving there and I had a bunch of coffee, and I was like, let me go to the bathroom. And the bathroom stinks so bad. And the sister, who was a friend of mine who had invited me there to speak, I said, my God. I said, why are these children stinking so bad like this? Like, my goodness, this smell like a bunch of old, rotten feces up in there. And she said, that's all them flaming hots and red juices. That's what some of them eat for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Some of them come to school, and on the way to school, they stop and get them a bag of chips and Cheetos and one of them juices that ain't got no label on it. And that's what they eat for breakfast. And then for lunch, they do the same thing or something similar. And so it's just constant junk food. And literally, some of our children, their stomachs are just rotting from the inside. They're so addicted to food. All we do is give them fast food, chemical, plastic. They are nursing plastics, eating bad foods through the drive-through. Here, let me give you this. And we ought to be ashamed of ourselves because there's so much documented evidence out here that these fast food restaurants, in many cases, are not even real food. Listen, If you go some of the meals that those people have and it's $3, $2, you can't even put that together for $2 or $3. So 9 times out of 10 is not even real meat. It's not real fries. Um, Whatever you're getting, it's not, a lot of times it's not real. It's only $2, $3 sometimes. They got a dollar meal. What in the world are they feeding us for $1? So, but what would happen if we made it socially acceptable in these in our urban deserts where we have some ready-made meals, even some of our takeout restaurants. I know we frying our chicken and frying our fish hoagies up and all of this stuff. Let's take a turn to be healthy. Because a good healthy meal, and maybe there's a space on the side of these little ready-made food cafes where people can sit and talk and maybe have a little spoken word going on. But we can incorporate a little bit of fun and entertainment and education around this food. So we got some great ideas for Sajdah House for the museum, where we're going to be doing some a tour and a dinner, museum and a dinner. So just really pairing these experiences with food so that we begin to change our narrative around food. Let me see what y'all saying in the comments, because I see a lot of things being said. Let me scroll up here. Oops. Okay, let's see. Sister Sandra said the debt of Satan you can't fathom. That's right. Brother Gary Webb said, tell it. Sister Felicia Horn said, Assalamu alaikum family and happy Savior's Day family. Sister Sajdah Muhammad, keep calling them out and us too. Oh, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Sister Felicia also said, Black businesses in our communities are investing in foolery like hookah bars, so-called soul food that's bad for our health, while we Muslims circling their products to Muslims in their region. I'm not sure what the last statement means, sis, but you're right. We're investing in things that it's because we're looking for the quick dollar. Okay. And if you understand business today, when you create an experience around something, you can just about sell anything. So you can get away with selling good food. There's a lot of people out here that want to eat healthy. A lot of us that need to eat healthy. Listen, cardiovascular disease is the #1 killer of Black people in the United States of America. And what is it? What are the risk factors that are grouped into that cardiovascular disease category? Smoking. When I was running the Minimally Invasive Vascular Center, 90% of our patients smoked. Okay? Second, diabetes. They got this thing now where they call it pre-diabetes. When 9 times out of 10, you're diabetic. You need to get your stuff together. You need to start monitoring what you're eating. You need to start exercising before it starts to affect your pancreas. Next thing you know, they telling you you got pancreatic cancer. Or they telling you, it started to affect your circulation. Now you got to get amputated. You got to go get some stents or whatever. Then there's high blood pressure. Again, let's work on how we do things. Let's get into our spirituality. Meditation is documented that it reduces blood pressure. Diet. You know, a lot of things we go, well, you know, it's in our DNA, it's hereditary. Well, let's work hard or work harder in turning that around. Let's increase our muscle mass, start doing some resistance training so that our muscles are doing a better job at pushing the blood to and from our organs. So when you look at your calf muscles, that calf muscle is designed to compress around the vessels and move the blood. But if you ain't moving, if you ain't got no muscle mass and you say, well, I don't really do no resistance training. You ain't got to do a whole lot of heavy lifting, but you got to keep your muscle mass together. There's muscles in your thigh that are designed to move the blood. That's what the muscle's for. When you get muscles here in your bicep, what is that designed to do? It's moving the blood up and down your limb, up into your head. These muscles have a use. It's not just to make you look better. Some of us wonder why we get 50 years old and we can't get up off the couch and got to wear a diaper, because our lower diaphragm muscles have collapsed. So let's get busy doing some resistance training, moving around, climbing some stairs. We got to push ourselves. We can do it. We can turn this thing around. Let's get our diet together. Find a friend, find a family member, and y'all should just go, you know what? Let's find healthy places to eat. I try my best, if I go out to dinner, not to eat anywhere where I know they serve fake food. I see certain food trucks posted outside. I know that's processed food. So show me a place. It may not even have to look all that good, but if I know they're making the food from scratch, if I know that they're using some good, healthy halal or kosher food up in there, I'm there. And if not, let's start creating our own little places where sometimes you go, I just want to have a good meal with my sister or with my brother, or I want to take my husband or wife out to dinner. Then let's start creating some places where we can do that and enjoy ourselves and have good, healthy food at the same time. Okay, Regional Sky Girl said, let's see what she said, sis. I got to pull this down. I was in Patel Brothers. This is Regional Sky Girl. She said, I was in Patel Brothers in Charlotte yesterday. It was an Indian grocery store, but in the back of the store, there's a small restaurant, a place to sit with their basic foods available, fresh. And what I'm saying is that, yeah, there's a place to sit down, but we could even make ready-made meals. So, the container that you can use and you get in, and it's got a protein, a vegetable, and a carb, but we can make ready-made meals. We can serve soup, something that's fast, because a lot of people are not conditioned to, the pageantry of food making. And we're going to introduce people to that as well, where you'll get to sit right in the kitchen or view the kitchen at Sajdah House and watch us preparing these holistic, beautiful meals and just loving ourselves. See, I look at whatever I'm putting in my body as an act of love, right? And so it's got to taste good. It's got to feel good. I'm just like, let me go love on myself. And so finding that way that I can love myself, and love myself doesn't mean eating something bad, eating something nasty, eating scavengers. No. So let's see. Somebody else said, yes, ma'am. The parents are processed food buyers, and the children living off of hot fries, juice, etc. Food deserts are billionaires. Yeah. Because the parents are busy. People got to get to work. They tired. They going through stuff themselves. A lot of times they don't feel good. And so what are they doing? They're feeding their children these fast foods. And we wonder why they can't concentrate. We wonder why they have issues with their speech patterns. Because oftentimes, even while we're carrying them, we're eating these fast foods. Even before we got pregnant, we loaded up our cellular structure with these plastic fake foods. Then we conceive a child, and both in the sperm and the egg is this junk food. And so now the child comes out and the child's autistic and the child has challenges. Well, we can turn that around with diet. Then what do? We turn right around and we go, okay, the baby needs something to eat. Let's run through the drive-through. Get them a cheeseburger, some nuggets, something fast food. And we keep feeding this to our children, and they have nothing in that food that's feeding their brain. There's no nutrition that's going to them. Some of our children don't even take vitamins. Think about that. Somebody was telling me the other day that since COVID, you got children who are now on dialysis. This is an epidemic, people. Jamila Peters says, happy peaceful Saturday. Welcome, sis. Brother Lamont said the muscles have insulin receptor sites that help us regulate insulin. That's right. Resistance training is a must. That's right. That is exactly right, Brother Lamont. They also help your bones to release your own stem cells. So muscle base is important. Resistance training is a must. Okay? Get you some small weights, do some squats. You got wall sits you can do. You can do push-ups, some kind of resistance training. We got to get this together. It ain't that hard. Make it fun. Let's get up off the couch and let's go. Brother Stanley said, I found this week a black vegan restaurant. Ooh, I hurried to their location and made a big purchase. I'm definitely supporting this black business going forward. But Stanley put the name of the business in the chat. Soldier Tracy Soldier said, morning family. Sister Betty said, just do it. That's right, Sister Betty. Thank you for your love offering, Sister Betty. Sister Betty blessed me with a love offering. I really appreciate it. Y'all see the Cash App going across the bottom of the screen. You can also hit the super chat button, send some stars or something like that. Send a love offering because I try my best to bring you all good information that's going to motivate us to do better and live better and be better. And I want to put you in front of opportunities, in front of something that's going to help change your life. And there's no charge. All we're asking is for that love offering and to support. Come on, Sister Betty said more is coming. All praises due to Allah. Yes, ma'am. I really, really, really do appreciate it. Even though I don't charge for the platform, but the platform's not free. I still have to pay for it every month. So hit the love offering, hit that super chat button, go to Cash App, Sajdah Enterprises, give some support. If you have purchased your commemorative Elijah coin, you can get a digital asset, a digital NFT. Let me tell you all, you're going to wish you had it. When we start trading amongst each other, it's like, I do that for you for a coin, for a digital coin, for an Elijah coin. When you start seeing the additional benefits that Allah is blessing me to come up with for you all support. And y'all know I did not want to ask y'all for no money. And I said, if I do ask anybody for money to help complete this museum, then they're going to get more in value than what it is they end up giving in return. So you buy this for $350, you're going to get way more in value. You're going to get, free access to the museum for life. You're going to get, there's so much. You're going to get right now a digital NFT. Okay. Brother Stanley said the business is Root Plants Based Cafe in Byron, Georgia. There's a brother in DC that has really good raw vegan food. His name is Kefra. And I don't know where Kefra is these days, but it's Keffra. Brother Lamont, do you know Brother Kefra? His food is so good and it's raw vegan. And I know some of y'all going, wait a minute. I have a funny story. Sometimes when I get ready to say, I want to go out to dinner, some of my friends be like, okay, where are we going? Because they ain't trying to go to the raw vegan place and all of that. I'm not saying that you got to eat like that all the time, but I'm saying support these brothers and sisters that are doing the daggone thing. But Lamont said he heard of him, but don't know where he is. Okay, we're going to find out where Kefra is. If you all are in the DMV area, you can support Kefra and his raw vegan restaurant. It is so good. I'm telling y'all. And when I was in DC, I was like, I could eat like this every day. I even attempted to put Kefra in the cafe, in the micro hospital, but them patients who was recovering from diabetics was like, I need some cheesecake. I need something real. They was looking for some cheeseburgers and cheesecake, but incredibly healthy, good food. And so even if you stop by somebody like this particular company, Brother Stanley put in the chat, or the brother I'm talking about, or you could go, Sister Carmela has great vegetarian foods in Chicago. I'm sorry, Sister Carmela, I know you got a spiritual name. I'll remember it next time. But she's got the Foodie Spot. She's got How to Eat to Live Cafe, good, healthy food. And so, but my concept, I'm going to go talk to my sister about it, my Vanguard sister Carmela about it, because I believe that this is something that can really, really work and can really be exciting. So anyway, y'all, I'm going to get out of here. I thank you all for your support. Thank you all for your love. Thank you for the love offerings. Thank you for the Cash App. Please keep it going. We are striving to finish. And we need some big chunks in here. So these artists and entertainers that y'all know that got some big chunk of change, and the smaller amounts I'm grateful for, because they help with the everyday bills, if you will, at the house. But we need some big chunks. Put some $10,000, some $100,000 down, so we can tell the contractors, look, we got 23,000, let's go. We got 40,000, let's go. And we'll be done in no time. And we've already got so much interest in the house. The monetization and the ongoing concern of the house will not be a problem, be it the will of Allah. We've got so much interest, got so much happening, just the tours alone. And then not to mention some of the retail items and all of that stuff. So thank you, Brother Stanley, for that. Appreciate it. Hit the super chat. I see Brother Stanley just did it. Really, really appreciate it, dear brother. Let me show this, what you just did. Love you. Thank you, sir, very much. Love each and every one of you. So click the link in the bio. Go to my social media pages. Click on the form. You got to use the form to claim your NFT. Just because you have the coin doesn't mean you're automatically going to receive your digital asset. You're going to have to go use the form, register, put your wallet in there so that we can airdrop. We're going to airdrop on Tuesday. So go out there and claim. I'm going to work on probably Sunday and Monday verifying all the forms that have come in. So we'll verify your number and stuff. Please go out there and claim it. I want you all to have, I'm literally begging you to take the digital NFT that comes with this coin. Go register, click that link in my bio on social media, register, put your wallet address in there and get your digital asset. You will not be disappointed when you do. I'm telling you. I'm telling y'all this, get it. And if you don't have one of these, you can still get one. We still got quite a few left. Let me tell you something. When Allah downloaded and gave me this whole concept, this whole process, you couldn't have told me that we'd still be selling coins right now. I thought we'd be done selling coins and on to something else. If we sold out the coins, we'd have been done with the house. But it's taking y'all a little longer to catch on. And I'm not going to give up on you, but I'm telling you, go get your coin. Go to supportsajdahhouse.com. Get your commemorative Elijah coin. With the commemorative Elijah coin, the physical asset, you're going to also get a digital asset. Okay, family, peace and blessings. Love you all. Appreciate you all very, very much. And we will see you all, inshallah, next Thursday. I'll do some lives in between. Peace and blessings.
I have received so many pleasures, so many very good to look at, whether you own them or not. It's a pleasure just to look at such presents. Why, I have never witnessed so many presents. I think I have to build me a house for presents. This shows what Allah can do for you and me if we believe in him.
There is nothing that we could not accomplish in the name of God. You know what your problem is? You don't have even a worthy goal to strive after. I'm going to give you an assignment today. Here's an assignment. Is there something you want? Do you want something? Something that you want, but you have not been able to get it? Huh? Close your eyes. Do you see it? Whatever it is that you want, first envision it. You got the picture. Do you see it? All right, now the question is, you have to claim what you see. I claim this. I claim it. I believe with all my heart in the name of God that I'll bring what is in my imagination into reality. We're going to bring it back like it never was. I see in the dome the name Allah written in Arabic. But I can't just dream. I got to go to work. How do you bring it into concrete reality? First, without faith, you can't work the vision.